like to ask you guys to go ahead and check out Insane Labs if you are in the market for purchasing some sort of an energy drink or focus drink or anything for like pre-workout, anything like that. I'd like to ask you guys to go ahead and check out Insane Labs. Use code WARLORD for 20% off your purchase. There will be a link down in the description to their website. Go ahead and check them out and buy something if you feel like it. What's up, people of YouTube? This Roller here, bringing you guys another video to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about whether or not betas in Call of Duty or any game in general is actually a good thing. Now, obviously, there's the very general, obvious side of things where it's like, yeah, betas are good because you get to test the game before it comes out and know what bugs and glitches and issues there are, so that way the developers can actually fix it before it hits the shelves. That part is obviously a good thing. That's obviously something that is very, very important when it comes to releasing games nowadays, because there's a lot of bugs in games because they're just so much more complex than they used to be. But what are some of the negatives to certain games when it comes to betas? In particular, I'm talking about Call of Duty. What are some of the negatives to Call of Duty having a beta? So I remember back when Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, even Call of Duty Ghosts, and before that, Advanced Warfare even, was coming out, and the hype train was just going, and it was rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling, and it was insane because it seemed like everybody in the world had their eyes on Call of Duty. Everybody in the world knew what was coming, that it was that time of year for a new Call of Duty game to come out, and everybody was excited. So betas, in a form, kind of take that excitement away, because with the exception of Infinite Warfare, just because, one, I don't think a lot of people were really excited when the game came out or was coming out, myself included. I wasn't all that hyped. But with the exception of IW, because of that, and also the fact that the beta was so close to the release, it was practically the game itself just being released like a week before it actually came out. It feels like when the beta drops 2 to 3 months before the game comes out, you're getting a pretty good taste of what that game is. The only thing that's keeping you going from knowing, you know, okay, this is what I'm supposed to expect, is you're not getting everything in a beta. You're not supposed to anyway. But with the Black Ops 3 beta, for instance, when I played that, I was addicted instantly. I was instantly addicted to that game because I feel like I was a little bit more forgiving when it came to jetpack Call of Duty for the most part. And when I played the beta, all I wanted to do was play the beta more and more and more and more. And then when it ended, I was really sad, right? For me, I wanted the game to come out then. I wanted to be able to play it, and I was looking forward to its launch just like I was before, maybe even more so because I did get a taste of the game. But on the flip side of this, there are people out there that I know 100%, because not everyone has the same opinion, when they played the Black Ops 3 beta and definitely the Infinite Warfare beta, once they got a taste of the game, they said, oh, I don't like this. This isn't what I wanted to play. And then right then and there, if they haven't already, they cancel their pre-order, move on to something else like Battlefield or Titanfall or something along those lines. And then they're just kind of gone. Betas, I think, are a really good thing, but I feel like it kind of derails the hype train for a lot of people once they get their hands on the game, because to a certain extent, right, like, you don't want games to be on a hype train for 2 to 3 years because people just kind of sway away from it, kind of like some of these games you see get announced at E3 and they're scheduled for 2019, 2018. Like, that's a little much. I think 6 to 7 months of hype is a pretty good amount, kind of like what Call of Duty does, especially considering they have yearly releases. Once they start doing that and people get on this hype train, and then the beta comes out in August or whatever, and the people who are already skeptical, which with the booster pack Call of Duty was a lot of people were skeptical, once they try that game and it just instantly turns them off to it, they're not going to buy it. You know, they don't want to play it. Maybe they'll buy it sometime down the road when they're bored and they don't have anything else to do. But I feel like it hurts sales in a way. And for the people who are already going to buy it, it just makes them want it that much more. So I feel like it's not going to make people want to buy it any more than they already did before, necessarily, besides just maybe make them more excited for its release. But it can turn off the people who were already excited about the game coming out. So you might say, well, then that's a good thing. We don't need these people in here who are skeptical and hating and all that stuff. We don't need them in this community. They can buy this game and not buy this game, and they can play the beta, and just, if they don't like it, they don't have to buy it. And that's true. That's 100% true. That's a large part of the reason why I think betas may actually exist, is for kind of like a testing phase. Like, do you know if you really want to play this game? But from Activision's side of things, all right, I feel like I am kind of seeing where this hurts business, and maybe this is why there wasn't a beta for so long in Call of Duty, because it was starting to get to a point where betas were a normal thing with like Battlefield 3 and stuff. I don't actually know if Battlefield 3 had a beta. I'm just saying, like, some of those games were coming out with betas, and Call of Duty was still left in the past. They weren't doing betas, and people were like, "Why? What are you doing?" And when they were doing that, I think a lot of it was because they were worried that some people were going to play games like Modern Warfare 3, for instance, and see, oh, this is the exact same thing as Modern Warfare 2, just with a new skin and like a couple of things added, and they weren't going to buy the game. Whereas if they just held their pre-order, gave them incentives to keep the pre-order, then the game comes out, they already have them, hook, line, and sinker, and the odds of them spending $65 on a game and then turning around and selling it is a lot less likely than playing a beta for pre-ordering it and then canceling their pre-order right after they play it and deciding that they don't want to play the game at all. So obviously I think that the positives probably outweigh the negatives when it comes to betas and how useful they really are, because you do get a lot of things out of them, whether it's making sure that the game runs fine, there aren't any glitches and bugs and giant issues with the game, and balancing is a big part of it too when it comes to Call of Duty. But for games like Call of Duty that have this hype train every single year, maybe even like some of the Madden games, if they had a beta, I don't know if they do, I don't think they do, or other shooters like Battlefield or Titanfall or even Destiny, I feel like betas can be a really, really dangerous thing. I feel like if they are not confident in their game, like Infinite Warfare, if they're not confident in their game, then it's going to crash and burn for a lot of people, and they're just going to lose a pretty large portion of their audience from this beta. And I think that's kind of a scary thing for developers and for the publishing team, Activision, whatever you want to call them, as a whole, because the sales matter so much to these guys, because one, that's their business. You know how many people work underneath Activision or a part of Activision or Sledgehammer or Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Raven, like all these people, these are their jobs. Like, I mean, people criticize YouTubers for making YouTube videos and making money. Like, they're trying to feed their family, they're trying to feed their pets and pay their rent or whatever. Well, this is what they're doing, so these sales matter to them. And the fact that the past couple of years, Call of Duty in particular, because that's the one I follow the most, has been able to say, hey, here's this beta. We're confident in our game. We're confident in our ability to make a good game. Here's a beta. Try it out. And they have to put faith in us and faith in their ability that they made a good enough game to where they're not going to lose a whole lot of people from the beta. Because honestly, like, there is no way that this isn't happening. There's no way that there isn't people who are playing the beta as a kind of a testing phase, even though a lot changes from the beta to the game most of the time. But there's no way that there's not people who are playing the beta that were skeptical before, or maybe they weren't skeptical at all. Maybe they were hyped. They play the beta and then they realize this isn't what I was expecting at all, or hey, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be. It's a pile of crap. And then they cancel their pre-order. So for the fact that they're willing to give everyone the ability to play the game early, knowing that they're probably going to lose some people who are going to buy the game, is a pretty crazy thing to me. And I feel like the only people who can actually do this successfully is the people who are like Activision and like these big game studios. Like, I feel like Battlefield could do it, and I'm pretty sure they've done betas in the past, but these big companies who make a lot of games and have such a huge following that are willing to lose some people so that with the grander scale, the bigger majority of players can also enjoy the game before it comes out and test things. And that's basically my stance on betas. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's all I really have for you today. Once again, go ahead and check out Insane Labs if you guys are feeling like purchasing some sort of energy supplement or something along those lines. Anyways, guys, deuces.
Yeah.